Alright, what's up everybody? Today I'll be making my first video on Java. Alright, so basically what Java is, it's an object-oriented programming language, which basically means it revolves around something called an object, which might seem obscure at first, but let me explain to you. An object is an instance of a class. Alright, so that might sound a little bit confusing, and I guarantee you it did at first to me, but here's what happens. Assume this is a class, okay? Assume it's a class of, let's say, food, okay? This is food. So, food, food has some characteristics to it, but one thing it has food is not just food, it's other. It's describing a whole umbrella. And that's basically what a class is. For example, I can create an instance of food called, let's say, French fries. I'll just call it French fries. So, French fries, right? Are French fries food? Yes. But they're also inheriting another method. For example, French fries are salty, French fries taste good, and French fries are, awesome. So, anyways, basically what's happening here is I'm creating another instance of food. I'm creating an instance of food, which is called French fries. Now, food is the main category, and French fries has all the characteristics of food. It's edible. It tastes good. Assume all food tastes good. It tastes good, and you need it, right? But French fries also has some unique qualities, and that's the difference between an object and a class, and that's how objects essentially work. Now, if we're creating a video game, which eventually we will, then food is then we'll be making different instances. Of course, it won't be food, so we'll be making things like enemies. We'll have different enemies, but they'll all be an enemy and they'll all have the same qualities, such as, for example, enemies will have health, they'll always share health, they'll always do a certain amount of damage, and so, but they'll also have different qualities to them. For example, sometimes an enemy may do more damage, we'll have to specify that, and an enemy may move faster, move slower, so those are the different things. Alright, so basically, this is what classes and objects are. They're basically classes and objects are basically you can have a whole umbrella and then create different instances instead of having to say I want to create another object. So this was really useful because back then they didn't have this, and so they had to create each object individually, which becomes a pain. I'll show you the reason why. Alright, so here I've created a class called bike. Alright, and so this bike will make this an app. As you can see, first of all, if you don't understand this, well, public is basically other classes can use it. For example, the road can use bike because it's a road. So it's gonna have to know when a bike is on top of it. Let's assume video games. All right. So it's gonna have to know when a bike is on top of it. So they're gonna have to be able to interact with each other. But some things can be private. Most classes are public, but it's just good naming convention to put public. Anyways, we're gonna create a public class, which we already have, is bike, and this bike is gonna have some methods on it. Methods are basically things that the bike can do or the class can do. For example, an enemy can move, an enemy can attack, or a player rather, and those would all be methods. Now, bike has some different methods. For example, private, which means no other class can use this except for a bike. Private, void, change speed. Speed. Void just means it has no return value, unlike ints and other things. Return values, I'll get into that at some point too. Alright, so now it's giving me because I haven't used change speed yet, right? So in here, this is called the parameters. And normally, what goes in the parameters? Well, for example, if I want to change speed, what do you want to change speed to? Well, let's make an int. I'll call it speed, right? In speed. And I can have another variable, int speed, let's make this private too, private int speed, this is different from this speed, right? So I want to do change speed, I'm going to do speed, right, this speed, equals, or no, this dot speed, which is this thing over here, is equal to the speed, this one, alright? So basically I'm saying that the bike speed is going to become the speed that I entered. So for example, if I said change speed, right? And then I want to change it to 4, okay? Change speed to 4, right? And change return. Alright, so alright. Anyways, so assume I change speed, so I change speed to 4. Alright. And this will give me an error right now because it's not in the instructor and everything, but besides that, that's not really. Anyways, so it's giving me an error right now because we're not using it properly, but I'm just giving you an example. So change speed and 4. So right now, my speed of the bike is equal to 4 once I use this correctly, obviously. And so because this is 4, I can actually use this method. I can actually now use this in a player input to be, for example, speed equals, if I press up, speed equals 5. If I don't press up, then speed is not equal to 5, like that. So anyways, that's what would happen with a method. So that's a method, and that's classes. I think we've gone over a lot today. It's kind of difficult to understand, but as we start programming, it's going to be a lot easier. And next time, I'll probably be talking about variables and, among other things, how we can use them, as well as probably other things. And after that, I might be actually starting my video game. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later.